Is there a potential in you? Yes. Is there a potential in the market for your product or service? Yes. Do you have the capability to be one of the top guys in the world in whatever you do? Yes. Will you be? Has nothing to do with market potential, your potential. It has to do with. It's a very unique state in which a teacher finds himself. He knows everybody can be great, but he also knows everybody will not be great. If he knows everybody cannot be great, he's in a nice position. It's okay. Because if that is how the design is, if that's how providence is, that everybody cannot be great, he's in a nice position. And if he knows everybody will become great, he is in a nice position. But this is not the teacher's position. The teacher's position is, everybody can be great, but everybody won't be great. So for a teacher, even before he begins, in his mind, he is a failure. He begins feeling like a failure because he knows every teacher. He knows he'll teach the subject and tell all of them to go and revise it in the house for 1 hour. Or you tell them that you can't read accounts, you should practice accounts. So whether it's maths or accounts, you don't read it like you read a theory subject. Do a few sums, work it out. So he knows that if they do the process, then they will get the subject right. But he knows that everybody will not do it. Because the limitation of a teacher is, it stops there. After telling you, this is what it is, and after this, this is the process, and if you do the process, you will become good at it. But then the teacher can't do the process. The music teacher teaches you a song, you pick up the song, but then perfection will not be there. And in order to get it perfect, he's going to tell you, you need to go and practice. And if he really sees a great potential in you, he's going to tell you, you have to go and practice this for 6 hours. No teacher is going to tell in someone whom they see that you will only be an average, you go and practice 6 hours. They think that you have the potential to be extraordinary. So the teacher is saying, you need to practice it for 6 hours, because between excellence and also performed, the difference is generally that additional 2 hours of practice. But the teacher also knows this. Out of the 10 students, she teaches and tells them, go and practice for 6 hours. If she is lucky, 1 will practice for 6 hours. The remaining 9 won't. They are capable. In fact, they would have heard it once and they can come and reproduce. And for a teacher, when you are reproducing itself, they know the difference between a performance which had practice and a performance that doesn't have practice. Consistent, directed, self-motivated, intelligent effort, whether it's there on the desire or not, the teacher knows in your reproduction. You won't know. You feel I'm singing good enough. Good enough is different from being the best. And the difference is in the process, not in the capability. See, if the difference in performance is in capability, then it's a God's problem. Then I think we should question. But the difference is in the process excellence. And you know that everybody will not follow the process excellence. The dietitian knows when she is prescribing the diet itself, 9 out of 10 or 99 out of 100 will not continue to follow this diet to the dot beyond the first few days. She knows it. She also knows that this process will bring the results that you want, but she also knows this, that you will not practice it. In a short period of time, Ramakant Achrekar knows that Sachin Tendulkar is not the only one he would have seen. with so much potential and capabilities. But Sachin Tendulkar is probably the only one he saw with so much process excellence. If he tells him that you need to practice, somebody told him, Ricky Ponting, only once. You will have to practice minimum 100 throws of direct hit. For it to become spontaneous memory in you, that at one stage, even in a live situation, the moment you see the stump, your system is capable of doing all the calculation in terms of what should be the angle, what should be the velocity of the release, everything, and spontaneously do it. It has to become spontaneous memory. So you can't hit a direct hit with thought out memory. In practice it's possible, in a real match it's not possible. Somebody told Ricky Ponting 100 practices per day, and he practiced 100 practices every day. And he probably has more direct hits. In fact, you don't want to run when the ball is with Ricky Ponting. You know he will hit. In the context of everything I am saying in life, what is my discipline to the process? As long as the discipline to the process is not there, doesn't matter how much I have understood, doesn't matter how intelligent I am, doesn't matter how capable I am, as long as the discipline to the process is not there, you are not getting your being right. Whether it is you or tomorrow between you and your children or between you and your team in the organization, it really doesn't matter. In fact, I was asking them in Bangalore, if every day I have taken an annual membership of fitness studio, every day I go to the fitness studio, every day. I park the car, I take my gym bag, I go to the change room, I change, I go inside the fitness studio, I can listen to the music, I see all the equipments, come back. Every day I roll the yoga mat from this side and roll it back from that side. And say every day, Mahatria, without missing, I roll the yoga mat. Then what do? Roll it back. What will happen? If every day I read what has been suggested to me as a diet and keep it, then do whatever I want to do. What happens? If I simply come every day to the session and go back and nothing else, then what will happen? Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. The difference between people who can be great and people who are great is not in potential, is it in process excellence. Without getting the discipline of process right, anything. You want to read a book? Read a book. You want to see how organizations have become brands. You want to see how businesses have become organizations. You want to see how people have achieved this multi-layered managerial system where the guy sitting at the top is able to just share his vision, and up to the end the whole organizational efficiency, it percolates and it operates. You want to create a global MNC. Is there a potential in you? Yes. Is there a potential in the market for your product or service? Yes. Do you have the capability to be one of the top guys in the world in whatever you do? Yes. Will you be? Has nothing to do with market potential, your potential. It has to do with, do you have the discipline towards process excellence? With process excellence, you can be everything. Without process excellence, you are nothing. Absolutely nothing. Doesn't matter what it is. Then we think that it's because of another difference. The same teacher teaches, the same teacher says how you have to practice what I have taught, and she knows every student in the class can get centum in that subject, but she also knows everybody will not get centum in the subject. And what is the difference? Capability? Kadayad. Luck? Kadayad. What's the difference? There will be one student where if she says that you go and practice it 3 times, and it must be written and practiced, she is sure about it. There is one student who goes and practices it 3 times, writes and practices it. In fact, sometimes you find the most intelligent people compromise on the process the most, because they have this air about them. I know. They are so good that they think they don't need the process. I'm just thinking, because the generally average understands I'm not that good, so puts in the hard work. The really capable feel so capable, they don't commit themselves to the process. I'm just thinking, what sort of greatness will it be? A combination of these most capable people, but there's also discipline to that process excellence. And as a combination, what happens? People who are there for a reason, not accidentally. It's not that he was just loitering around and found himself at the top of Mount Everest. There was process excellence in Sir Edmund Hillary. And Virat Kohli says, I have not had a single cheat day yet. Then you know how somebody was, they had to decide whether he should be selected in the team or not some time back. And today the world sees him as a statesman, not just in cricket. The country sees Virat Kohli as a statesman right now. He says something the rest of the country wants to listen. And he says, I don't care. Yesterday I played a full day match. Tomorrow you can be sure I'm there in the gym for 2 hours. Then you realize he did not accidentally become what he has become. He's not become the run machine that he has become. And he is telling himself, one day I come out of the bathroom, I see myself in the mirror. I felt so embarrassed looking at me. I asked myself this question, is this the body you want to have if you want to be an international cricketer? But more importantly, I asked myself another question. Do you want to be a cricketer where the opponent team feels one more player has come, one more batsman has come to fill the 11? Or do you want to be a player where when you are walking to bat, the opposition feels, here comes a man who can individually win the game for his team? The opposition should fear you, not take you for granted. Somewhere when the opposition is having a team meeting, few minutes must be invested to discuss how to handle this player. If you want to be that level of a cricketer, essentially he is saying, an entire team should feel we can lose to this one person. And if an entire team has to feel we can lose to one person, then I realize the way I'm living my life is never going to make me that. From next day, whether it's 2 hours in the gym or whatever is my dietary control or the sort of training I subject myself to, there's no compromise to anything. So how do you sustain the motivation? They say, I'm wearing the badge of India. What other motivation is required? That you know as an Indian you can win it for your country. What other motivation is required? Then you realize people who are there for a reason. They didn't accidentally make it there. Unquestionable process excellence. Day in, day out, another day and another day and another day and another day. Unquestionable process excellence. To know that I had so many choices and I only chose what was right, what was best. From a teacher's perspective, it's an agony to know everybody can be great, but everybody won't be. No matter what you do, beyond a stage, it's about their discipline to the process, and without that, nothing can be done. Individually, each one of you who have probably at various stages blamed it on the world, blamed it on your stars, blamed it on your karma, blamed it on your horoscope, blamed it on your circumstances outside of you, blamed it on everything, market is not responding, whatever it is, for where you think you should not be, you should ask yourself one honest question. Can you touch your heart and say, my commitment to the process is 100%? And if the answer is no, you have no right to expect to be anywhere in life. If you cannot touch your heart and say, as a student, as an entrepreneur, as an employee, as a dancer, as a singer, as a musician, in terms of your fitness regime, in terms of your spiritual aspiration, as an infinityist, you should be able to touch your heart and say that my discipline to process excellence is 100%. Then we are not discussing where you are in life. I know where you will be. But in case you cannot touch your heart and say that my discipline to process excellence is not 100%, then you have no right to even expect to be anywhere in life. Because that's the difference between who can be great and who will be great. The discipline to process excellence. If I have gone to a teacher and the teacher tells me, I'll teach you certain stretching and you will have to practice every day and come and see me after 2 weeks. If you have practiced it every day, I think you have a right to go and ask the teacher or the physiotherapist. You ask me to do the stretching every day, but still why don't I have the results? But when you don't do it, Mahatria, I did about 8 days, though they asked me to do for 14 days. You don't have a right. How can there be compromise in the process but excellence in the results? Equation work aali. If there is a compromise in the cause, there will be a compromise in the effect. If there is excellence in the cause, there will be excellence in the effect. If there is no commitment to the cause, how there can be effect? It cannot be. Starting now, every student I am saying, starting now, November, December, January, February, 4 months. I think from March your exam starts. Starting now, if there is absolutely no compromise on the process, I am telling you the difference between the best student in the school or college and you will all be ironed out. Doesn't matter how till now you have. Next 4 months there is process excellence. There isn't a student who does not have the capability to be the topper in school or topper in college. Starting now to December 31st, in terms of a spiritual practice or in terms of a health regimen, starting now to March 31st, financial year, in your business, in your career, if there is process excellence, I am not even saying you will experience results to your expectations. I am saying you will experience results that will surpass your expectations. So, do you want to live your life with the potential to be great, or do you want to be great? And nobody can help you in this except yourself. Not even God. Nobody can help you in this except yourself. So, when the Vedas said lift yourself by yourself, they should have added one more. You can lift yourself only by yourself. Not by yourself, not as a suggestion. The truth is you can lift yourself only by yourself. Because nobody else can discipline process excellence into your life except yourself. Nobody else will be able to do it in any aspect. So if there is any dimension of your life you are not satisfied with your results, introspect and you will know there is lack of process excellence. If there is any role in your life where you are amazed at the results that's happening in your life, introspect you will find there is only one reason, there is absolute process excellence. Potential plus process excellence equal to greatness. Potential, there is no negotiation. Now you know what is left. It's up to you.
So